What's up, guys? Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Whatever brought you here today, I'm really happy that you guys are here. So, if you are interested in anything romantic relationship related, please think about subscribing and looking at my past psychology talks. I usually focus on health behaviors and health outcomes within interpersonal relationships and specifically romantic relationships. But today I have my friend and colleague Lucy here with me today, and we're actually going to talk a little bit about online dating because I think it is a super hot topic and something that a lot of people are doing and can benefit from learning some scientific research on, and it's gonna be fun. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and yeah. Okay.
Cool. Thanks for having me, Jerica.
No So this is Lucy, like I said. Will you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your current research?
Sure. So I study everything from first impressions and initial attraction to processes that happen in very established relationships, such as long married couples. So I'm interested in what single people are doing, what happens when you are dating and getting impressions of people, strangers, your friends, and even your evaluations of your partner that you've dated or been married to for a long time.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, so one of the reasons that I brought Lucy on here today, obviously her research is super interesting, but she's also about to complete her PhD and defend her dissertation, and she's gonna leave us and go to Indiana, right?
Yes. Purdue, woohoo! Yeah, so I defend in 2 days and then I move in 4 days.
It's crazy. Yeah, and so she'll be doing a postdoc there on other close relationship research. So I wanted to snag her little time before she left because I think it's super fun to talk about this stuff with a friend. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the pros and cons of online dating. So you want to start off by...
Sure. So first of all, I think online dating is a great idea. It's a way to meet
I hate it.
more people. So yeah, people who are often in the dating process find it exhausting, and I think it's a work in progress, right? It's something that needs to happen, but we also need to improve a lot of the things that aren't going well. And hopefully today you'll know,
some of the research behind it and get ideas of maybe what you can do to enhance your profile, but also maybe some red flags to look out for when you are online dating. So I guess we're going to start off by talking about the pros, the positives first.
So one of the pros of online dating is that you get access to people that you've never would have met in real life. And if you're busy or don't have time to meet other people because of work, we often have a hard time meeting anybody now.
I know.
It's great for that.
Yeah. Our program specifically is a lot of females, and the males in our program love you guys, but you're all in relationships or married. And so it definitely helps expand your horizon of people.
Yes, totally. And there is a lot of research that goes into what people are looking for in partners. And when you're browsing profiles, that does give you and other people a sense of sort of generally what you're looking for. In the literature, it's often called ideal partner preferences, IPPs.
IPPs.
Because we love our long phrases. And although, as we'll get to in a bit, what we think that we want in a partner doesn't always match who we want when we meet them.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So when we're evaluating somebody, let's say on paper or hypothetically, so looking at a computer screen, their online dating profile, that's when we access, we're sort of in this deliberative mindset. We're thinking of, our schemas, our ideas of what we think. Our
ideal romantic partner maybe from like a movie or TV or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I think of the Paul Rudd character from Clueless or the James McAvoy character in Becoming Jane.
And so we're basically looking for somebody who's possibly unrealistic.
Yeah, and might not even match who we're attracted to. The attraction research is really interesting. We're attracted based on smell. We're attracted based on...
Right, which you can't get, obviously, from a dating app.
Yes. And so that's why you're seeing more studies with, like, speed dating and or even video. Like, how a video makes a difference between or does it fall somewhere in between of like on paper versus in person? And the speed dating research is actually interesting because it's a way to sort of take what your evaluation is on paper and then see what happens when you meet them live.
So you want to talk about, I know your advisor, so she is advised by Dr. Paul Eastick, which you guys can look up some of his stuff, but you want to talk about some of the research that you've done with him, or that I guess maybe that he's done about the speed dating stuff?
Yeah. So some of his previous work has influenced my own work, obviously, he's my advisor. But he did this really cool study on speed dating. So normally, speed dating started actually in the real world, and now researchers are sort of using it too. But usually it's, the women are all seated at various tables, and they talk to one guy at a time for 5 minutes. We're assuming heterosexual dating right now. They also do it for non-heterosexual dating. Okay, so, and then after like 5 minutes, a buzzer goes off, and then the men all rotate. And so it's all the women get to meet all of the men and vice versa, but always women are the ones sitting down. I don't know if it started that way because of like,
Who knows?
Traditional gender traditions.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway.
Like guys opening the door or something.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah. And so what he did, and I don't know if this is for his dissertation too, or just one of his many projects, but he had the women rotate instead. And what you found is in the traditional way, like when it's the men who are rotating and the women sit and wait for you to come to the table, men are yesing more of their dates than women. So that means, like, after this date, I do want to see this person again. I don't want to see this person again. And what you found is that guys were saying yes a lot more often. They were more willing to go on a second date.
When the guys were moving around.
Right. But when it was the women moving around, that sex difference or that gender difference was reduced. If not, it might not even been we call statistically significant.
Yeah.
Meaning basically men and women were doing about the same thing. Which is interesting.
And so we briefly talked about this, but this might be because possibly the women are getting up and they're kind of seeing their
full body.
Their full body, possibly. And so you want to talk about some of the attraction.
Right. So
going on that.
There is a specific waist to hip ratio that men are more attracted to as opposed to other waist to hip ratios. And this goes above and beyond just sort of general body preferences. Like, do I like somebody who's really skinny? Do I like somebody who's curvier? There's still this, like, ideal ratio. And so it might be that because men are getting a more realistic view of what the woman looks like, that could be driving this difference. That wasn't the most popular explanation, though, I should say. Other explanations were like, by being the person who is physically approaching, you're already kind of in that vein of like, I'm going towards you, I want you, or something about confidence. But it might also be in part this importance of a realistic look at your attractiveness.
Okay, so we went ahead and talked about meeting people that you wouldn't normally be connected with in every day. And so another thing that online dating and communicating can be good for is actually talking to somebody ahead of time and having that mediated channel before in person, so possibly maybe connecting on more of like an emotional level. So you can get that far.
I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, like, okay, I like somebody based on their profile. How much should we talk before we actually go on the first date? Because it can be exhausting to go on way too many dates just based on a profile. And there is at least one study that I know, well, there's a lot of studies that looked at this, but one looked at it very specifically of how long you should communicate. And if you communicate just a little bit,
here.
Nice. Yeah. So if you communicate for like a couple weeks before, that can be really good. You're actually going to build that attraction and like sort of get a head start on it. But if you're talking for a long time, that can actually be bad.
Yeah, I think they say, like, 3 weeks is ideal, 6 weeks possibly, but, like, 6 weeks is pushing it. And it's interesting because I don't know if there's been stuff done on, like, how good it is to get off the app so quickly. Like, is it more beneficial to get off the app within a week or a couple of days? Do you know?
Right. I'm not sure about that research-wise.
I know
but
we know, like, the cap of it, but...
Because of my own work, I'm very biased towards thinking meet face-to-face as quickly as possible. Yeah. Just because, as I'll get into a second, like... that evaluation you make on the paper is likely to be very different from the in-person one. So,
Yeah.
like, why not get there? But if you know that you are a horrible first date, awful at first encounters, really, really awkward, just you need that sort of head start, then yeah, a little bit of texting.
Yeah, it's a good...
I mean...
Make yourself as cool as possible before you...
Well, yeah, don't lie, but you know...
That's another thing we talked about is, yeah, if you are trying to get anything out of this, like, don't lie about, don't lie about who you are because, or your photos, and don't, like, put on a bunch of...
Don't Photoshop.
Don't put on a bunch of makeup because they're going to see you in person and, you know, you might look different and you want to put yourself out there as realistically as possible to have the best benefits from it.
Yeah, there's no benefit to you in lying. I mean, they're going to see the real thing. And
if you decide to meet them.
Similar to communicating too long, they're going to start to build this idea of you in your head that probably it's going to match. Like, if you talk about how adventurous you are, you might be thinking of like, ooh, like I like to go on a what are those called, the wave runners occasionally. I like to go on a hike, and they might be thinking like rock climbing.
Yeah.
You know,
so it's building it's different interpretations of what you're saying. Like, you might think that you're adventurous, and that person might perceive it in a different way. And so one of the things getting off the app does is you're able to actually, I feel like it's like not fantasize about that person and who they actually are. You just like meet them and you know.
And figure it out. And there's so many signals, and we're still studying this and trying to understand that you just give off just being there in person. Again, not just smell. Try to smell good, but just the way you behave non-verbally. Yeah. And your tone of voice. That, like, you get so
people
much in just 5 seconds.
Yeah, so true. Okay, I feel like that's a lot of the pros.
Yeah. Or
well, the last part wasn't really a pro.
We're standing really anti right now.
I know, but
it's a work in progress online.
Yeah, but those are basically the pros, and the pros in that last situation. Just a pro would be to frame yourself as realistic as possible. Yeah. So
and a little bit of communication, but really try to limit it. Meet face to face as soon as possible.
Yeah. Cool. And now on to the cons.
Okay, so well, I'll let you lead. This is your pajama.
What? No, you go. No, go
okay. So we sort of started not so subtly hinting at this already, but there's been lots of work showing that what we make in what we call a hypothetical mindset. So you're just looking at a piece of paper, looking at a computer screen. The evaluations that you're making is more coming from you as a person, how you've lived your life, the kind of evaluations that you tend to make it about other people. You're going to learn more about yourself through those evaluations than about the person that you're trying to evaluate.
Totally.
And we just know this by comparing. Like, well, in my study at least, it was the same group of targets, so it's the same group of people that were being evaluated, but we just looked at, okay, what happened if it was just based on their photograph? What happened if it was based on a video of them on a date?
So this was your study that you ran at UT?
It was a collaboration actually with Northwestern and Texas A&M, where I was before I came here. And it's not published yet, but it's being written up. Okay. We also have a published paper looking at just how time affects evaluations. And so that's sort of related in that the longer you get to know someone, the more unique your perceptions can become. And I think that's a virtue of like what happens when you meet somebody face to face. The kind of jokes you might make, oh my gosh, I'm falling on the floor laughing. Other people might think, she's not funny. You know, everyone has their personal, like you said, perceived similarity, like we were talking about earlier, is so important. And because we're such unique creatures, we kind of need that face to face.
Yeah. So I guess takeaway from all of that is that evaluations on paper, so you looking at somebody's profile, often doesn't meet face-to-face, and so that can be an online dating con. On the other side, the pros is like you present yourself as good as possible, like that you are.
Yeah, you want to be. People aren't trying most of the time to lie on these profiles and things. It just sort of happens naturally, and some people choose you.
Next con, catfish.
Oh yeah, the whole catfish thing. That's so horrible.
Don't do it. I mean,
don't do it. Yeah.
But you want to go on to I guess another con is talking about algorithms, because a lot of these dating apps like eHarmony say that there is a special algorithm that will match you with your perfect partner. Elaborate a little bit on that.
Just any sort of claim that you hear, take it with a huge grain of salt, because sometimes these companies come to our conferences and it's unclear to us how they're getting those algorithms, what couples they're testing that on. It's all very sort of fishy.
Yeah. And some research I think that Eli Finkle has done at Northwestern is the fact that this is a company. They're trying to get your business. They have no reason to want to lose you as a customer and get you off the app. They want you to keep paying and keep finding it. So it's just something to think of.
We're not saying that that's what they're doing, but think about it. For them, it actually is more profitable to have more singles out there.
If you think of like the weight loss industry, taking a diet pill, for instance, really you think that somebody's going to give you a diet pill that actually works? No, they want your money. So just be aware of people who are, trying to take something from you.
And if it was that great, you'd hear about all these couples matching in Jeremy.
but I'm sure you guys watching can probably name a ton of people who have met and are dating and married through apps. We're not saying it doesn't work. We're just saying to be wary of algorithms with you answering personality questions and stuff, because it is a thing. You can answer questions, I think, but what you say you might want in a partner might not end up matching your actual partner, because we weigh our
because of the research says we're bad at predicting what we'll like in the romantic domain. Again, in this hypothetical state.
And I think that there's a sense of chemistry, too, of you just, liking somebody in person that you can't get down on paper.
We're still trying to figure that out, the whole chemistry thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever will.
Yeah.
Giving up already. No, but, and this is related, too, to, I think a related con, which is that, think of any online dating site. There's tons of pictures on there. There's lots and lots of choice.
You can swipe through so many people.
Yes. Yeah. And other work has shown that when there's too much choice, there's actually a bad thing to too many options. There is such thing as too many options. And when there are too many options, we not only make worse decisions, but we are less happy with those decisions.
I mean, I think of going into Walmart or some massive grocery store where there are 100 different popcorn choices. I'm screw it, I'm just gonna choose this one.
No.
It's so overwhelming.
Yeah,
comment down below if you feel that way, ever. Too many choices on dating apps in the grocery store.
I think it's driving a lot of stress. And the study that often gets cited was about jam. And it was do you have 4 choices of jam or do you have lots? And basically you're always happier when you just have to choose between a few.
Yeah.
So that's, it's a pro and a con, right? You want to be able to be exposed to more people, but too much, too many people is bad.
Yeah. I feel like that wraps it up.
Yeah.
If you liked any of these things, let us know. Comment down below. I hope you guys got some good tips. And we're actually going to wrap this up by Lucy reading some of the messages that I've gotten on OkCupid. I downloaded the app about 2 weeks ago. Lucy is in a relationship, right?
Right.
I am single, and so I thought, what a great opportunity to download this app and have a little reaction. She hasn't looked at these at all, so let's see.
I'm excited. And it will